the poinsettia. There's a reason why these are a classic winter favorite, just like chestnuts roasting over an open fire and singing carols through the snowy, brick-laden roads, because there's a certain energy about them. They remind us of Christmas and our holidays with our families, and the red in particular, which is my favorite. So I wanted to do a little video kind of going through all of the care needed to successfully grow a poinsettia inside the home, because as much as people love them, people have just as many issues growing them. So first and foremost, the poinsettia is a member of the genus Euphorbia, which in particular it's Euphorbia pulcherrima, pronunciation I'm not sure, but other euphorbias which we may know, crown of thorns, other sort of like cactus-like euphorbias, it's a member of that family. And these are actually native to central areas of Mexico, where they get a lot of sun throughout the year, and in their native habitat they actually will grow quite tall, into about 15-foot tall trees. Here you can see a picture that I took the other day of a poinsettia here in Bogota, Colombia, which is where I'm doing this filming. Look how big it is. It's beautiful and laden with flowers, flowers all over the plant. But the first thing to note is that the red or apricot or white or pink, whatever color you may have, flowers are not actually flowers. They are considered bracts. What's considered the true flower are these little yellow things that look kind of like a bean almost. These are the actual flowers. So the first thing to note is that when you're at the store or the garden center picking out your poinsettia, the first thing to take a note of is how far along are those little yellow flowers. If they look like they're just starting to open up like mine are, that is a good sign. You want a poinsettia whose flowers are just starting to open up and you can see other ones forming, because that means that they're going to have their colorful bracts longer than if they were totally covered with their flowers already opened. That kind of is a signal that they're already kind of finishing up their season. But mine I have with yellow flowers just starting, and it's exactly what you want to see. So when it comes to caring for the poinsettias, there's two main things that you really need to bear in mind, and that's the lighting and the water, which it's like the recipe for success for any plants. As I was saying, these are native to central Mexico, where there's the days are quite sunny for a good portion of the year. So for us in the northern hemisphere, that can cause a bit of a problem, because I live in Pennsylvania throughout the year, and the winters are dark and long, and there's not necessarily a lot of light. These need a lot of light to really thrive. So if you have the opportunity, put them in the sunniest window possible in your home. That is going to allow the colorful bracts to remain looking vibrant the longest. Here I have it in a window that gets sun all day long, and that is going to allow this to look good for the next 6 to 8 weeks probably. So that's step one. Rule one is give it as much light as possible. And if you have a nice lamp or something nearby that you can, maybe you have a little coffee table with a lamp that you have on all day long, putting it on that coffee table where it can get that just kind of extra light is a very helpful thing to think about. Okay, the second thing that I very, very often is the reason for failure in a poinsettia is the watering. Okay, think about, if you do a little searching where poinsettias are native to, like I was saying in central Mexico, it's also very dry in those regions. For us at home, that means these plants like to be dry. Many euphorbia are very dry, loving plants that can handle long periods of time without needing to be watered. So when it comes to watering these plants, when to water, how to water, the thing to think about is these like to be very, very light. They like to be watered just a little bit. Maybe, so I have this is maybe 4 to 6 ounces. I give it, let's see if I'm even going to give it all of it. No, I didn't even give it all, and you'll probably see here in a second a little bit of drips coming through. the bottom, and I am going to wait until the top feels dry again until I water it again. While we're planting and growing many of our perennials outside, we like to give them long, deep waters, on a regular basis. But when it comes to a lot of the house plants, especially in the winter time, when it is colder, when it is darker, giving them little sips of water on a more regular basis is going to be much more effective at keeping your plant healthy as well as keeping them pest-free. If you've ever had fungus gnats in the wintertime, they always come in the wintertime because many of us have trouble watering. We often water them too heavily and they remain wet, bringing those gnats, and we don't like that. So less water more often is the key to success with the poinsettia. Okay, so the next thing that I have a lot of questions about is people see the yellowing leaves and they think, oh no, my plant is dying, I killed it, what did I do wrong, blah, 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 blah. Actually, no. Like you saw in the previous picture, these grow into trees that are quite tall. And what happens as they grow tall, they want to shed their lower leaves. So from now until Christmas time or until February, however long I have this looking good, I'm going to be continually seeing yellowing leaves like this. And what I do is I pluck them off. I pluck them off just like that. And if you want to be even more careful, you can use some scissors and cut them off too. Because as a member of the euphorbia, they do have that kind of milky sap that's going to kind of irritate your fingers if you touch it. If you want to see, let's see. So you can see, you see that milky sap. It's not going to like kill you or anything, but it can irritate you if you touch it too much. Touch too much of it. So you can use gloves while you're doing that or not. And also they will also start to shed their leaves in the middle. So removing those inner leaves that are turning yellow is also very important. Otherwise, in terms of the warmth, this is a plant that really needs to stay between about 60 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit all the time. It can handle being a little bit warmer if you have it near somewhere that has kind of a warm draft. That should probably be all right. But if you have it where there's a cold draft, if you have it near, like, I don't know, cold air filters through, that is not going to be helpful. And that will cause it to be premature in losing its colorful bracts. And along those lines, if you are living in a cold area and you buy it at a grocery store or a garden center, please wrap it up, cover it somehow if you're going to be exposing it to cold temperatures, because it's not going to be happy. You may not notice the next day or the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, but you will be definitely injuring the plant on the internals, and it's going to make it lose its bracts more quickly and lose its foliage more quickly as well. And the final thing that I want to talk about is making them look pretty. No, this is a gardener's choice. I got this for $1 at the dollar store, and it fits perfect, and it looks perfect, and I just put it just like that. Oh, isn't it so adorable? I love it. So does Samantha. She's behind the camera laughing at me right now. She's an incredible photographer for me, a videographer. But anyways, so those are all of the features that kind of what you want to consider when you're growing your poinsettia for optimal growth. And if you do want to keep it after the holidays, because it's a plant, it doesn't just die after the holidays. So many people throw them in the trash, but I actually like to keep mine. I have a couple really cool variegated ones at home that I'm going to keep. Why wouldn't I keep? So if you do want to keep them beyond, that's a little bit more lengthy process. Maybe I'll make another video describing how to do that once I'm ready to do it with my plant. But basically it just involves keeping it as a healthy house plant. In the wintertime, in April, you cut it back to about 1/3, and then you allow it to be outside with your other houseplants that you're putting out for their summer vacation. And that's as detailed as we'll get for now. But anyways, this is a classic plant. It's very easy to care for. It requires very little water. It loves a lot of sunlight and a little bit of warmth. You don't have to fertilize it during the holiday season, so that's a bonus if you're worried about that. But generally speaking, it's a very low-key, very beautiful, bright colorful plant, and I wouldn't spend a holiday without it, or a winter holiday without it. Anyways, I'm Devin, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll catch you later.